In this video, I will talk about a really cheap gaming PC that actually doesn't suck and it's pretty decent for 1080p gaming. I will explain the different parts and why I picked them, and I want to say that this PC is going to be great for 1080p competitive gaming and also some popular games like GTA 5, but if you want to play the latest AAA titles at ultra settings, you will need to spend more than $400. That's a fact, but if you want a nice 1080p performance, you have $400, you cannot go higher than this. I think that this PC is actually a great choice. Like I said, it's really cheap for a gaming PC, $398, so you end up saving those $2 below $400. That way you start saving for your next RTX 3080. Just kidding guys, that is going to be a long way. Without further ado, let's start. For the CPU, I picked the i3-10100F. This is a really cheap CPU for $68 and there's no other CPU that is going to beat this one in terms of price to performance, and I decided not to go with an aftermarket CPU cooler because the stock one from Intel is going to be enough, especially for this CPU, because it's not too powerful but it's going to get the job done for 1080p gaming on a budget. Then for the motherboard, I picked the MSI B560M, great motherboard for the price, and it's going to handle the 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 MHz that I went with. This is the silicon power gaming kit 2x8, so you get dual channel. And one thing to say is that if you want to get a Prebuilt PC at this price point, it's really difficult. The closest one is going to be around $480 that I mentioned in my last budget Prebuilt PCs video, but most Prebuilt PCs, even at a higher price, let's say $700, come only with 8 gigs of RAM. You're going to be lucky if there are 2 sticks of 4 gigs, that way it's dual channel. I think that only the HP budget Prebuilt PCs do that, but aside from that, you will mostly get 1 stick of 8 gigs, which is going to be terrible and it's going to affect your performance, especially at high demanding RAM video games like Fortnite. That's why you should always get 16 gigs of RAM on dual channel. Trust me, your performance will improve a lot and the price is not so different. Then for the storage, I went with the Patriot 480 M.2 NVMe SSD. Now for this PC build, you can make the case and go ahead and buy 2TB of hard drive. You will get more storage and it's not going to be a bottleneck for this system. However, it's going to cost you 10 extra bucks, and I think that 500 gigs of NVMe SSD it's a really nice starting point, considering that it's a $400 gaming desktop and that is not going to run the latest heavy titles. So if you download games like Valorant, CSGO, even Fortnite, you will have plenty of storage. Then for the graphics card and the most important part on a gaming PC, I went with a used GTX 970. This one has 4 gigs of VRAM and you get it for only $89, which is a huge deal. I know that it's open box, but I will leave you a link to a trusted GPU, so don't worry about it. You will get a great performance, and if anything goes wrong, eBay will refund your money. But don't worry, I will leave you a trusted GPU down below in the description, as well with all of the other components. Now the 970 is actually a pretty old GPU. I think it's 2016 if I'm not wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am. But this GPU actually for 1080p gaming and the games that I mentioned is going to be pretty solid. Even at 1080p gaming, high settings for let's say League of Legends, it's going to be totally possible at above 60 FPS on average, and even for games like GTA 5, medium settings, 60 FPS average is possible, and you're only spending $400 on this total build. So if you ask me, I say it's a really good price, especially because these last 2 years for $400 you couldn't get anything, and I mean anything, so the price to performance on this PC it's pretty nice. Then for the case, I picked the Thermaltake Versa H17 Micro ATX Mini Tower case. This one is going to be really small and the airflow is not the best, but considering that it's $45 and the components are not really power hungry, you won't have any issues with temperatures on this particular build. However, if you're looking to upgrade this PC later on, I would recommend going with at least a case that has a front mesh panel or has more fans, but it is going to be more expensive, and for the purpose of this video, we try to keep the budget under $400. However, at the end, I will explain on how to spend a little bit extra on this PC to make it more upgradable and to have a better performance. And last but not least, the power supply, I went with the EVGA 450 watt 80 plus certified power supply, only at $30. EVGA, it's a really good company for power supplies, is really trusted, and 450 watt is all that we're going to need for this particular build. However, like I said before, if you want more upgradability, I would look to upgrade this as well. So this PC overall, $398 with 90 cents, a great gaming desktop. Like I said, for the price you won't regret it, especially if you want to play the games that I've mentioned. However, as I always say in my videos, I do recommend you going to YouTube and search the GTX 970 i3 10100F benchmarks for different games for you to see exactly how it's going to perform on your favorite game and your favorite settings. With that being said, let's make this PC a little bit more expensive, that way you get some extra performance. So the next upgrades are going to add up to a total of $482, but the performance is going to be way better, and I made this PC much more upgradable down the line in case you want to upgrade the components in the near future. I went ahead and picked the GTX 1070 instead of the 970. This one is actually really similar to the 1660 Super for a price of $140 on eBay. Don't worry, you will have the link down below as well. Then I went ahead and changed the case for the Deepcool Matrix 40 with 3 fans installed. This one has way better airflow than the last one, so for this particular build it's not going to make any huge difference, but if you want to put like a really powerful CPU or GPU down the line, then the airflow is going to matter much more than right now. Then for the power supply, I picked the EVGA 700 watt 80 plus bronze certified power supply. This one is only 35 bucks and it's going to be great not only for this particular build but also for future upgradability, and that's why I made this PC more future proof while getting better performance with the 1070. Now, like I said before, this one is 482 bucks, and if you don't have the budget to spend it but you have a little bit extra, more than 400, then don't do the case and power supply upgrade, just upgrade the GPU for you to get the best performance out of this PC, because like I said, the GPU is going to be the main component for gaming on a PC build, so that's the main thing that you want to upgrade if you want better performance. However, you need to upgrade the CPU at some point, not to bottleneck the GPU. The i3-10100F is still really good for the 1070. However, if you can upgrade it to, let's say, the i5-10400F, that's going to be a huge upgrade, especially for multitasking, streaming, and all of that stuff. So if you can go, let's say, to 520 bucks, upgrade the CPU to the i5-10400F. It's going to make a difference, especially for multitasking and also games that are CPU demanding like CSGO or Valorant. The last thing that you want to upgrade if you want to increase performance is the storage and the RAM. 16 gigs of RAM is all that you're going to need, and 480 gigs of storage might be low for you, and I get that, but if you want to upgrade for the best performance, upgrade the CPU and GPU before anything else. And if you don't care about upgradability down the line, then instead of upgrading the case and the power supply, you can upgrade the storage if you want. That was my whole video. If you found it helpful, leave a like and subscribe. Most importantly, hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content, which I do from 3 to 5 times a week. Now, if you're looking for a Prebuilt PC, I've made 2 Prebuilt PCs videos in the last week for this month, so I will leave those videos in the top right of the screen in case you want to see them. They are really interesting, especially if you don't want to build a PC by yourself. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.